Good morning and a very warm welcome to my channel. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. Hi, my name is Amanda Ellis and I will put today's date, which is the 12th of June 2024. This is the second video that I've done. I did one yesterday linked into the UK and French elections, and I did promise you in that I would also be looking at South Africa and Mexico. I understand you've already had your election, so we're going to go a little bit different in this video. I'm going to pull some cards. I'm going to be going with my own intuition. The guides that I have here are, so I'm just smiling because there's somebody on the bottom of this pack who wants to come forward as well. I'll show you in a moment. But my main guides are Archangel Metatron and Jesus. But yeah, I've got this Keepers of the Light deck, and we've got White Eagle, who is also coming through. And it's interesting because the first one that I want to do is South Africa. And on this card, it says a family wound or pattern can be healed now. Connect to your lineage. And yeah, we're going to start with South Africa. And maybe this is an opportunity to heal the family wound in your country. Let's hope so. So let's get to it. I think just to help me get into this subject, because if you've never seen me before, I am in the UK. I don't know anything about South African politics, but actually in terms of reading and bringing through spiritual information, sometimes it's much better to know less, because then whatever is coming through, is coming from the right place. It's not coming from a place of bias or anything like that, because I do not have a horse in this race, okay? But just to help me, I'm going to read an article that was from yesterday in the UK, just to get me into the whole energy of South Africa and what's been going on with you. This is from The Guardian. I won't read all of it, but I will just read this as an introduction, and then from that I'll know what type of questions to ask, okay? So, this says, the ANC must work with rival parties after losing its majority, but voters are sceptical of any government of national unity. The headline is, "We need to be one. South Africans on a future with a potential coalition government." I will say that one of my followers who was watching my video yesterday also asked whether I could do or just pull some cards for India, and I might be able to do that in this video, or I'll do it in another video, because India is also interesting, because I think they're about to go into coalition as well. And I have been picking up a trend which I feel is we're going to be seeing more and more in the world in 2024, not in all countries, but definitely in some, which is more coalition governments coming in. And I do wonder whether it's a precursor, a very early precursor in complete infancy to what I've been channeling for quite a while, which is that the future is moving away from duality and to unity. I know at the moment it feels like such a long way off. Are we going to see that in our lifetime, or our children's lifetime, or our grandchildren's lifetime? But we have to plant seeds now for 7 generations hence, and we must always remember that, okay? So yeah, I've always seen unity governments going forward in the future, which have representatives from the old parties of old. It's going to be happening everywhere. One day it will also be happening in places such as USA. But right now, I'm just wondering whether South Africa is seeding something quite important. So let me just carry on reading what it says here. So, as South Africa's biggest political parties remain locked in coalition talks, the country's voters have mixed views about what could await them. From hope that politicians will work across ideological divides to bring positive change, to pessimism that any cooperation will rapidly fall apart. The African National Congress Party lost its parliamentary majority in the 29th of May elections for the first time since it came to power in 1994 at the end of apartheid. Amid high unemployment, degrading public services and infrastructure, it secured just 40.2% of the vote, and it now needs to reach a deal with at least one of the largest opposition parties by Friday. So I'm reading this on Wednesday, when Parliament has to elect the country's president. Interesting as well. Let me just stop here, because yesterday, one of the questions I asked with regards to the UK and French elections, I know slightly different, but we had this energy of everything being rushed. The French election being rushed through, the UK election being rushed through. Now, it may not be that this election has been rushed through. I don't know whether it was or not. I assume not. But again, this rush to find a leader. And in many ways, of course, a true unity government, it doesn't happen overnight. I'm reminded of the situation in Northern Ireland, the peace process that took years, decades, until all parties were able to actually get around the table and start to work as one. I know a slightly different situation, but this thing about the time being our enemy, whereas if we could only give things more time, including something as important as this, which is trying to reach consensus with people and parties of very opposing ideologies, it would of course be helpful. But the clock is always ticking, isn't there? Because government has to carry on. Anyway, let's carry on. So the current president is called Cyril Ramaphosa. I seem to remember I pulled some cards on him years ago. Can't even remember what I said. But anyway, he's the current president. He's proposed a government of national unity, invoking the 1994 to 1996 period where the ANC, the former liberation movement, governed with partners including the National Party, which ruled South Africa during apartheid, and the Zulu Nationalist Inkatha Freedom Party. Since the vote, the ANC has held talks with parties including the pro-business Democratic Alliance, the far-left economist Freedom Fighters, both of which have ruled out working with one another. Okay, right, I'm not going to get into all the different parties and all the different leaders because, frankly, I'll get completely confused. I'm just going to look at this from an overall perspective. It does seem, though, as though some are saying the party which got the third highest vote share, having only been launched in December by former President Jacob Zuma, has said it won't work with the ANC while it's led by Ramaphosa. Right, so we will pull some cards then on, apologies if I'm saying his name wrong, Ramaphosa and Zuma. I do remember reading on them before, so we're going to pull cards on them because they feel as though there's a huge divide and they might be the sticking point to it coming together. Right, I won't read on. It's a long article. I'm sure if you're in South Africa, you know all about it anyway. It was more for my benefit. Right, so let's start with White Eagle. So connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. I also have channeled Nelson Mandela before, so we will ask him to step in as well to help us with this. Whether he says anything or not, I don't know, but we'll just see. We'll invite him to the table. Okay, so he's being invited to the table to help with the process of deciding the new leader, but he's also working in spirit to try and get these people around the table in the first place. And I'm seeing him in spirit, this is just an imagery really, but it's as though he's busy back and forth between all the opposing parties and politicians, trying to get them to come to some sort of agreement. Because I feel he's saying that the vacuum and the absence of cohesion and stewardship at the ship is leaving it rudderless, okay? And it's as though South Africa, which is the boat which houses many different types of ideology, people with different roots, with different belief systems, the Rainbow Nation, which ideally is a home for all. It's as though this boat, which is South Africa, is adrift. There is no anchor. It doesn't even feel as though it's in a port or a harbour. It feels as though it's out on the seas, cast to the elements, cast to the elements, basically. So adrift and cast to the elements, anchorless, and it's as though there is no captain on board the ship. So what Nelson Mandela is trying to do is, number one, give it a navigation system once again for somebody, but he's trying to find the person that can read the navigation system to get this boat back safely into shore and harbour. And it feels as though it's a really big task. And I'm seeing him with his sleeves rolled up, which is obviously an analogy of hard work, putting the effort in. And it's literally like this boat is listing. The boat is the country, and the boat has got a hole in it. The water is coming in. There is a flood of emotion. There is... and it's as though he's trying to plug the hole, basically. But I have to be honest, it's not feeling good at all. This ship is not built for purpose, is what he's saying. He's talking about the apparatus of and the framework of the Constitution, or whatever you call it, the apparatus of government, is not fit for purpose. There is a rottenness at the core of it, which needs to be removed. And the analogy here is that the ship has got rotten floorboards, which are just seeping. It's sinking, basically. It's a sinking ship. And this can't be allowed to happen, because South Africa is a powerhouse, is what he's saying. There is so much potential. There is so much untapped ambition within its populace. There is still so much grounds for hope. There is still so much to believe in and strive for. Do not give up, is what he's saying. Do not give up. You must never give up. You must never give up on the belief of a better day. But the problem is just the ship itself is broken. Now, I've been talking a lot in my videos, these political videos that I'm doing, whatever country I'm looking at, just making sure I'm recording here, about the bird, the political bird, being diseased. So whichever side of the bird's wings, left, right, or however it manifests, it's as though there's rottenness within the whole bird itself. It's as though, I almost wanted to say yesterday with regards to, I don't know whether it's UK or France, maybe both, it's as though the whole bird needs to be put down, actually, for a new one to fly, or for a fledgling that is currently in the nest to be birthed. But here I'm seeing it's not just the political system that is broken. It feels as though the whole country is broken. So what do you do when a whole country is broken? You bring in the healing. This is why White Eagle is here. This is why the ancestors are here. Strong ancestral energy in your land, which wants to rise up and speak through the people that are open to it. Now, Whether this ancestral energy can speak through either Zuma or Ramaphosa remains to be seen. It feels as though whichever country I'm looking at the moment, the names are different, but ultimately you've got two opposing political leaders of the past who are still vying for power, who are trying to control the narrative, and who are strangling the lifeblood out of the new green shoots that want to come in. It's time for a complete makeover, is what I feel Nelson Mandela is saying. It's time for a complete makeover, complete restructure. So this is painful for you. I can feel that. So I just want to tap into the energy of the South African people at this point. And I know you're a diverse bunch, but let's just try and tie into the collective energy of the South African people generally. Well, of course, we've got a split. We've got a definite split here. But what unites you? I mean, in many ways, that's a question for you. What unites you as South Africans? What is the quality, the thing, the aspect of being South African that unites you, that has made you as a soul choose to land and be birthed or be brought to South Africa? Because it is a soul choice. Where we incarnate, the parents we're born to, the land where we reside is a soul choice. So what is it about this soul group that chose to come to South Africa at this time? Right. I'm hearing to remove the chains of violence. This is also a nod to slavery, but it's slavery chains, but it's also a nod to, do you have, I don't know what it's called, in Northern Ireland it was called necklacing, I think, or maybe it was a South African thing, because I'm feeling this pressure around my throat. I think I'm right in that, violence around the throat area, but I'm just seeing the chains. So I'm seeing something here around the throat, lynching. I'm feeling the energy around my ankles, slavery chains, bondage. And it's interesting because, of course, you are going to have a proportion of your population that are completely unawake. That is true of every country on earth. This message that is being delivered through this video today is a message to the awakened, the ones that remember why they came. And this is something that crosses colour. It isn't to do with the colour of your skin, it's to do with the energy of your soul. It's the soul choice you made when you came in to be born in South Africa or reside in South Africa, to help remove the bondage of the past, the violence of the past, and to cast down a new template, a golden template. And I'm being seen this template a bit like a golden blanket that's been put down on the ground by you that are doing the work. And I honor that you're doing this. But I'm seeing that many people are just trampling all over this golden template. This golden template represents the new paradigm energy that wishes to come in. It's the golden age for your country, basically, that you've never actually had before, because this golden age is for all. It's not to do with class or race or creed, it's for all. But it's being trampled underfoot by many. But I'm now being seen, some of you who are still able, from a humble heart of service, to go and polish this golden floor. The gold isn't gold in terms of precious metal. The gold is an energy linked into wisdom, sovereignty, divine power, connection to source energy. and brilliance. And it's South Africa firing up the solar plexus energy that is there. I always tune into the solar plexus energy with South Africa. I know some people disagree and say, oh, it's in Australia. At the end of the day, the chakras are present in all countries. It's just there's a predomination of one chakra sometimes in one continent or one country more than others. And South Africa, you've got this beautiful solar plexus energy. In many ways, the political powers of old have been responsible for this division and separation, this sowing of hatred between each other. But there are enough of you to keep this ship sailing, I'm hearing, this broken ship, until a new one is built. Because the truth is, the boat can't go down because everybody would drown. That's obviously energetic, not physical, on it. That would not be allowed to happen. You won't be allowed to, you won't sink. But a new ark effectively has to be built. And the question is it in the process of being built at this time? Let me pull a couple of general cards. I know I was starting about the election, but in many ways we're going deeper than, this is deeper than politics. This is, what I'm tuning into here is the soul energy of your people and your land. I'm just going to pull some cards here from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. And let's just see what we get. I'd like 3 cards, please. White Eagle. I'm going to call him White Eagle in particular. I feel his energy here. White Eagle. Take my glass off. White Eagle. I'm feeling this mighty presence above your land. And I do feel the energy of White Eagle above your land. The card is the riddle. That's the first card, the riddle. Let me keep pulling. Interestingly, we've got this card, which is the mask. I don't know how well my camera is behaving. I'm having all sorts of troubles with it, so sorry if the cards are blurred. But the point is that this here, if you can see it, is actually half of a mask. But when I first looked at that, I saw Ayers Rock in Australia. So it's interesting. I have said this before, I've channeled this before, that I feel as though the solar plexus energy, there's like a ley line or there's some sort of grid line linking Ayers Rock in Australia to South Africa. Energetically, okay? You don't need to get your maps out and look at longitude and latitude and where you all are, because it may very well be wrong, but I'm just picking that is true. And look, we've got the Rainbow Nation, but the mask is lying on its side. Let me just pull one final card and then I'll read the 3 together. So this is just South Africa, where you're at the moment. We've got the Hunter, okay. Right, so I want to go back to this card, the mask, the Rainbow Nation, the Rainbow Nation. The mask is on its side. It's really interesting in that if you're thinking about this, why can we only see one side of the face? And it's as though I'm feeling into the yin-yang symbol. And it's as though we can see, well, I wouldn't even say that's the light side. It looks a bit grubby, to be honest. It's like a dirty half face. But what you definitely can't see is the shadow side of the face. So I think this is the mask starting to slip. I mean, it's been proven in your election. People starting to distrust the choices that they've had up to now politically. It's what I said yesterday with regards to France and UK. It's probably what I'll say with regard to probably most countries that I read on politically. Who is behind the mask? Who is behind the mask? Who is actually calling the shots? This is a faceless entity. Who's behind the mask? But it's also, who are you as a nation when you are able to, and I know this is a huge thing I'm about to say, but or let's just put it this way, who are we as a human species when we can let go of the fighting, when we can let go of the division, when we can let go of the ego, which is a flip side of solar plexus energy, when we can let go of the right and wrong type thing, okay? So we've got the mask, we've got the riddle. Now, the point with the riddle is that it is actually solvable. Most riddles have a solution. It's just that most people generally don't work to solve it. I'm being shown by Spirit a Rubik's Cube. And if you're like me, I mean, actually, I know I did try quite hard to work out the Rubik's Cube in the 80s. And I think I used to get 2 sides. And then my brother managed to do it one day, and he cheated, of course. He took the stickers off and did it. But I know some people can do it really, really quickly. But a lot of people, it's just like, I can't do it. I'm just going to throw it across the room because it's annoying me. It's frustrating me. It's not solvable. Well, actually it is. It just takes a bit of brain power, a bit of lateral thinking, a bit of maybe putting it down, taking it back up again. What is the riddle? The riddle is the mess. It's the mess. It's the chaos. It's what feels at the moment the unsolvable problem of what the hell do we do with this sinking ship? I'm sure all South Africans who are watching me, you should have a pride in your country in terms of, I love my country. Wherever we are around the world, we should be able to say, I love my country. But we can also be very disturbed about things that are happening within it and the way it's going. So White Eagle is saying it's the family that has to come together again. But it's hard for the family to come together again at the moment because you've got this gigantic riddle, and that very much feels as though that's being manipulated. This smoke and mirrors, this, what's the expression? Like a magician, like you see it and then you don't see it. Sleight of hand is what I'm hearing. So yes, we know there's corruption, but sleight of hand. But the riddle is solvable, is what I want to say. And actually, if we look at the riddle card, we've got 4 hands that come together to try to solve it. So I don't know whether that's an indication that there will be, well, actually, it's interesting. There's 2 hands here that feel as though they belong to 2 different people or 2 different parties. This set of hands here is actually like that. So that belongs to one person. So that might be the leading party. That could be the ANC. That seems to be another 2 energies in particular. Can they solve the riddle? Do they want to solve the riddle? Now, why have we got the Hunter card? I'm going to ask that in a moment. But here we've got the horse. And the horse is trying to get to the light. Let me read, actually, what this card is about. Okay, card number 9, the Hunter. That's interesting. I literally opened it on that page. That's good, because it usually takes me forever to find the pages. But that's also a sign from Spirit, which is like, this is a really important card. Okay, the Hunter. So it says, the seer, the pursuer, the predator. When light... So the light side of the card, the positive side of the card, is it's to do with being focused, energized, respectful, and seasoned. But when it's in shadow, it's about being irresponsible, violent, poaching, and violation. It says the hunter hunts. They are on a precise mission with an aim. I'll ask who the hunter is. To return home empty-handed would be to fail, which is not an option in the hunter's eye. This archetype will journey far and wide, seeking the prize that calls to its heart or stomach. Interesting, it says stomach, because that's solar plexus. Tales of bravery and feats of strength often result, creating a life full of adventure. The hunter is skillful, quick, decisive, and results-orientated. Like the great hunting goddess Artemis, who carries her quiver upon her back, the hunter typically has a weapon of choice. When this card appears, it is critical that you ask 3 questions. What am I hunting? Why am I hunting it? And is the weapon I hold so tightly in my grip truly needed for the task at hand? I think this is linked into your journey towards a healed South Africa, a united South Africa, a unified South Africa. And what needs to be asked is these 3 questions. What am I hunting? So in many ways, that has to be claimed, that is the goal. That is the goal that we wish to aspire to. And this has to be in the politicians' hearts as well. Why am I hunting it? Why do I want that? Why do I want to turn away from something that maybe has feathered my nest? Okay, particularly corrupt politicians. Why would they turn away from something? And then, is the weapon I hold so tightly in my grip truly needed for the task at hand? You see, what I'm feeling is that it says it's to do with the great creatures of the world, the lion, the wolf, the tiger, and the shark. Yeah, the big beasts of the jungle. It's like the only weapon you need in your hand is a torch, okay? In terms of this, what it's basically saying to me, and I don't know who this is, and I don't think it's anybody that you've got on the political landscape yet. I mean, maybe they're a rising star, do tell me. This is like a new Nelson Mandela figure. And I don't know who they are, who she is, who he is. It's someone who is going to carry the torch forward for South Africa and help solve this riddle. The point is, the riddle's only here and we can only see it because it needs to be solved. It's as though you're getting to a point in your country where it's even the people who have maybe been denying that there's been a problem now can see there's a problem. Whether it's the power outages, the violence, financial things, poverty, whatever's going on, it's as though we can't deny anymore we've got a problem. And so with a problem always comes a solution. I just don't know what this solution, who's the figurehead here. I don't think it's either Ramaphosa or Zuma. Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe it's meant to be a shining circle of light. And as I said yesterday with regards to UK and France, and I know this is hard to maybe hear and practice, but this is a spiritual page, remember? Whoever wins, whoever is sitting around the table, whether it's a coalition, whether it's somebody with a majority, we shoot ourselves in the foot when we don't try to at least send blessings to a fresh new start, whoever it is, including those that in the past we've thought, my God, I really don't like you. I don't want you leading my country. I don't like anything about you. But the thing is, every election, every crowning of a new government, there is a chink of light, however small. In some countries, it's very small, almost non-existent. It's not that non-existent with you. I'm talking about China and places like that, where really there isn't an election that's of note. But there's a chink of light. And what we're aiming to do is to grow that chink of light, which is to do with hope. It's the energy of hope. So that the horse can actually see where the hell it's going. And the light can expose this hidden, masked creature, is what I want to say. It's a creature. It's the beast energy. It's the beast energy. And the beast energy, the devil energy, is in all countries around the world, not just in yours. But I'm feeling it's strongly devouring morsels, it's gorging in South Africa, and it's linked into this solar plexus energy. It's where the light shines brightest. It's where the opportunity for the light to shine brightest is always where the darkness will go. The darkness will always be attracted to where there is the greatest light, even if that light is buried underground. Okay? So be aware of that. Right, let me pull some tarot cards now. I've had these sitting over here on this grid for a few days. A little tip for those of you that read tarot or just read cards generally, I always give my cards a job to do. So I knew that this is the deck, excuse me, that I'm going to be using for South Africa reading. So I've actually had South Africa on it. I've had crystals on it. It knows its job today. I haven't just randomly picked it. It is, having said all that, what is it? It's the Insight Tarot. I just intuitively felt this was the right one. Yesterday, when I was putting the cards out, I did pull one card for you, and it was this one, but I'm going to add to it. It was the Five of Pentacles. And that's a card, I mean, in many ways, it's a card of money falling out of a bag. But the Five of Pentacles, if you remember, is usually a card of haves and have-nots. It's the ones that, in the traditional tarot, it's the guy who's sitting outside the banquet. All the lights are on inside a lovely looking building, but there's this sort of person who looks like a tramp who's sitting with nothing whilst others are feasting on gold inside. And there's been too much of that in the country. This is also an indication that the gold, this is an interesting thing to say, I'm hearing is leaving the country. What I mean by that is this is linked into the corruption, the resources that you have, which are plentiful, we know because of corruption, have been siphoned out to whoever, the people are that have been doing that. Probably goes across all political divides. But I'm also feeling it's not just lining the pockets of corrupt politicians, it's actually leaving the country. So, right, let's pull some cards now and let's have a look at the potential for, the government to form on Friday, okay? Because it sounds like on Friday you're going to have a president. Someone's going to be elected. If it's not Friday, maybe there's a few more days, but let's just talk about, I want to see the energy of the next government for South Africa. And then we'll get into maybe names, but let's just have a look at the overall energy of the next government for South Africa. Okay, the one that at the moment Nelson Mandela is scrabbling to try and get people around the table and talk to each other. Okay, let's have from this deck 4 cards. The first card that's come out is the Nine of Pentacles. Another money card. We've got the Ten of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Another money card. 3 money cards. The next government of South Africa. Okay, I was just about to say, this is on the bottom of the deck, I'll talk about that in a moment. I was just about to say, well, who's leading it? We've got all this money. Where is a figurehead? And then we've got the King of Pentacles. We've got the King of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles. I mean, you tell me, because I don't know the names, but this is a man who has money. Let me just have a look at Ramaphosa. I'm sort of being guided to him. Is he wealthy? Ramaphosa. Net worth. Oops. Right. I mean, I'm just going on good old Google. Maybe it's wrong. I've just put Cyril Ramaphosa net worth. It says he's worth $450 million. Really? Really? And there's people starving in the country. Okay. Sorry, I just want to read this. There he is. Looking very pleased with himself. He's been criticised for his conduct and involvement in his business interests, including his harsh posture as Lonmin's director towards the miners' strike. Right. Okay, well, I'm assuming it's him. Let me just have a look at Zuma. I can't remember his first name. Apologies. Let me have a look at his net worth, because I think I'm tuning into Cyril. Jacob Zuma, 82. Oh, he's quite old then, isn't he? I mean, you know, still young, of course, if you're 82 and watching me, but yeah. Right. I just want to see the money. I want to see where the money is. Has he got money, this guy? Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma. Net worth. He's worth 20 million. Okay. So he's not doing too bad. I mean, that might be wrong. It's just going on something on Google. But okay, no, it's Ramaphosa then. So we've got... It seems as though the king has not been deposed yet. A week is a long time in politics. He might have been by Saturday. But at the moment, he seems to be sitting pretty on a lot of money. Okay, right. Probably not what you want to hear, maybe. But you see on the bottom of the deck... Oh, God, look at that. Right, okay. If you've watched my video yesterday, UK France, this card came up twice. And here it is again, on the bottom of the deck. I suspect this would come up for every country that I'm going to read on politically. 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups. You don't know what you're getting. He's presenting himself as this solid, stable figure who's, okay, lost his majority, but he's able to, you know, reach out and form this coalition with others. But he's sitting very pretty on a nice pile of money. Feels as though he hasn't got a lot to lose, actually. But equally, I don't like these cards that are on the underneath. We've got the 7 of Cups, so, you know, God knows what's in those cups. We've got the Devil card, which in this deck is very, very poignant because there's a pair of hands and there's somebody watching these puppets. I know you might not be able to see it. There are puppets on a stage that, and the puppets are being dangled from this pair of hands. And there's somebody in the auditorium watching the performance. It's next to the Hierophant card. The Hierophant card, which is the card of governance, government, leadership. I feel as though it's linked into Cyril, I'm afraid to say, that I don't know who's controlling him. Who is controlling him? There's somebody controlling him, because where was that card about hands? Look, those hands, the riddle. Okay, I said to you, there's a person here whose hands are, it's obviously just one person. They've got 2 hands. Here we've got another 2 hands. Now, unfortunately, there's somebody trying to solve the problems, the riddle in your country who's playing for the wrong side, okay, who is playing for the beast energy, the devil energy, as opposed to the light. Having said that, you've also got other people around the table, or if not actually around the political table, there are people in your country who are holding the light. I just don't know who they are. Show me the energy of the people that are holding the light in South Africa, because there's got to be some. I just feel as though Nelson Mandela's literally wanting just to wipe them all. And I know it's his party, isn't it? The ANC, wasn't that his party? I might be wrong there. But it's like, he's in spirit now, remember, okay? Spirit sees things very differently. And I just feel as though he knows it needs a complete overhaul and makeover. It's not fit for business any longer, the existing apparatus. He's saying it was built out of pain and suffering. He's talking about the ANC. So the struggle, what it stood for, yes, what it also symbolised in terms of overcoming. He's talking about his own, release from prison. But it's as though it's marred in that whole story of the past, which was a story of division. And I'm sure the ANC isn't the only party around the table that's mired in the past. It's just he's talking about his own party. So he's saying parties of the past can't rule the future. And people who are embedded in that past energy can't take the children of New Earth into the future. Oh, nice. Bottom of the deck, we've got, thank God, the Page of Wands. That is the children of the New Earth. Don't know who he is or she is, but look at that. Next to the Page of Wands. Oh, nice. Oh, really nice. Sorry, I'm just reading the cards as we go. Okay, because they tell a story. So, as Nelson just said, it's like young blood. It's like new ideas. It's a new political paradigm that's not defined by the past. Is it going to happen by Friday? Zero chance. Is it going to happen by next month? Zero chance. Is it going to be happening by next year? Little chance. But the thing is, it's growing underground. Look at that, 7 of Pentacles. There is a grassroots movement growing underground that's going to challenge the old guard, that knows that the ship is broken, basically. And beside that 7 of Pentacles growing underground, we've got the Strength card. And that's a beautiful representation of the divine feminine. And she's got, I'll just have to cover her boobies because sometimes, believe it or not, this is the world we live in. You get censored for showing things like that, even though it's just a tarot card on YouTube. But anyway, Strength card, she's got the lion in her belly. She's getting the roar back. But this is like lioness energy. It's a lioness who will do everything to protect her cubs. Who are the cubs? The cubs are the children of South Africa, the rainbow children, okay, of South Africa. And it's next to the Ace of Cups as well. So those are brilliant cards for the future, not for now. I mean, we have to be realistic. We are in Pluto in Aquarius. Worldwide, we're in Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to be going on for a while. We are in the dismantling of the old. So what we have to do is not get despondent, not build our hopes up too much that a new government is going to answer all the problems of the past, because they're not going to. But it's a gradual process of more and more people starting to wake up to the underground corruption, the fact that I'm just being shown empty pockets in terms of out of ideas. I'm just out of ideas. I don't know how to steer this ship. This ship is ungovernable. This ship is going down. No, because there's a new energy in town, but it's interesting. It's underground, but it's also underground because it's being protected. It's being protected, heavily protected. Who by? Spirit. So, anything else to say on that? Going forward, South Africa, going forward. We've got 8 of Swords and the White card. That's really interesting. 8 of Swords is a card which is saying, I was talking about bondage and slavery and escaping the shackles of the past and all of that. It's as though there is an energy here which is like we can't or we won't, because the 8 of Swords is saying, in a traditional deck, remember, it's just saying you can just walk out of it. It's an energetic shift. It's a timeline shift. It's a paradigm shift that if enough of you believe it, it can happen. But not enough at the moment do believe it, because a lot of people are still stuck in that sort of victim energy of the past. And by victim energy of the past, what I mean by that is that it can't change, it won't change, we're going down. It's like SOS, SOS, but no one's actually answering. So you have to keep believing in hope. The white card next to it, in no other deck have we got the white card other than this deck. And let me just see what it says about the white card. So it follows the, where does it follow? It follows the, oh wow, it follows the world. And the world, of course, is the end of a cycle. It says the attention of God. Wow. Are you getting chills? I hope you are. The white card is the attention of God. The white card is an Arcanium tarot card without a number, without a picture. The colour white symbolises concentrated divine energy before splitting up into a colour spectrum. Appearance of the white card signifies that a new personal universe is opening up, and the way it's being done is under the scrutiny of the supreme forces of God. I am the frontier of beginning and consent. I am concentrated new meaning. To whom much is given, much is expected. This is God. This is God stepping in. That doesn't mean God's going to do it for you. God, source, whatever you want to call it, creator, helps those who help themselves. It's a bit like JFK, it's like it's not what can your country do for you, it's what can you do for your country. Once we get into that mindset worldwide, not just South Africa, everything shifts. And it starts, what I'm being told, with the small things. It starts with the picking up of litter in your local community. It starts with reaching out a hand to somebody who needs it. It's that type of things. It's not negating the very real problems that you've got in your society, the violence, etc., which are absolutely horrendous. But it's, you're on a spiritual page. I'm going to give you spiritual messages, okay? So please don't throw them back in my face for doing so. Don't ever throw the energy of hope back in your face, okay? Because what you're doing is, as I say, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Let's have a couple of cards, though, on this violence, and let's just see if I can bring anything forward to the table to help with that. So this energy of violence in South Africa, Spirit. I feel it's linked into lack of stewardship. I feel it's linked into interesting cards. I feel it's linked in. Oh, okay, it's linked into that. Yeah, sort of what I was thinking. It's linked into lots of things, of course. But what we've got here is we've got the card of the mother. This is family wounding in the truest sense. The absence of the mother. I'm also feeling the father. It's the parentless child. It's, even if they've got parents. Look at that. My mum's ringing just as I say that. Let me just get my mum. Hold on. Right, so I got my flow was slightly broken up there, but I think I was talking about the mother wound, wasn't I, as my mother rang. The mother wound, okay, but it's also next to the card of the child, the eternal child. We've also got a card here, which is the mountain, and I don't know if you can see it, but in the mountain, there's like a little pocket within the mountain near the summit, with what looks like a man that's just waiting. And that makes me feel of like a father that's waiting. This feels like parental dynamics that have gone wrong. But we've also got the card of the vision. And look at that. Wow, look at that. Where is this card? So the riddle, do you remember I said the riddle's got these two hands that are just meeting? Here we've got the same energy. We've got the hands that are meeting, the vision, the rainbow. The rainbow is above the mountain. Two owls. The owls symbolising that we will Spirit are saying we're trying to help you through this darkest period in your country's history, with regards to the violence I'm talking about, the violence in the night, the violence in the day, but to hold the vision. It's as though these hands are holding this cocoon, this egg, this rainbow light, this vision of a healed South Africa. But where does the violence stem from? It feels as though it goes right back to the family. There's a beautiful poem, which let me just read it to you, which is, if there is peace, some of you will know, if there is peace in the home. Here it goes. It says, if there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. Oh, hold on, I need the full quote. Let me find the full quote. Here we go. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbours. If there is to be peace between neighbours, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. So, why is the violence? There is no peace in the heart of these people. There is no peace in the home, resulting from the fact then there is no peace between neighbours, which means there is no peace between cities, which means there is no peace between nations, which means there is no peace in the world. I was right. It's going back to the home. It's healing the home. I mean, if there could be, there needs to be huge concerted government energies towards helping to support family life, early years education itself. But I'm assuming a lot of maybe single parent families that are struggling, lack of masculine role model, because this masculine role model is sort of here hiding up in the mountain. But, well, no, let me take that back. It's not that they're hiding up in the mountain. It feels very Moses-like. It's as though there is a masculine template for those that don't have it, that don't have the role model. But it comes from going within and accessing it via your higher self, the symbolic energy of going to the mountain to bring back the wisdom. But there's still an absence of the father in the home. There's damaged inner child wounding to a very large degree. And it's coming round and round in circles and cycles. So anything that can strengthen the home, strengthen the culture of home, support the family, support the children, is going to help heal this wounded animal that is creating the violence and the venom, okay, and the tears. Right. Let's pull one card on Ramaphosa. I think we've already got that. He was the King of Pentacles and all that money, wasn't he? I did say I'd just pull a card on Zuma, so let's just do that. We've got the Fool, the Page of Swords and the Ten of Swords. So he's really feeling it. He feels he's got a truth and a position, but the Ten of Swords is usually an ending, but the Fool is a new beginning. So I mean, he's older, isn't he? I wonder what his health's like, actually. Let me see what his health is like. Zuma. Because that Fool card, we've got the Magician. Well, don't rule him out, actually. He's got the Ten of Wands as well. I mean, put it this way, he's the type of person that, give him credit, I don't know who he is really or what he's about, but I'm just sensing that a lesser man would have already buckled with regards to the pressure. he somehow manages to just keep going. 10 of Swords and 10 of Wands usually would wipe anybody out. But yet he's got the Magician and the Fool card. So is the one last hurrah in him? Maybe. Is he the answer long term? No. Is Ramaphosa the answer long term? No. It's this new energy that is being protected and hidden. You've got to, South Africa, keep thinking that you're seeding 7 generations hence. And, you know, sometimes that's a hard one, isn't it? Because we want to see change in our lifetime. We want to see it now. We want to see it this week, this year. I get that. I completely understand that. But if you look at this from a soul perspective, you're a soul that's come many times to this earth plane. Believe it or not, you probably will come back again. You miss it when you're not here. Yes, you do. No, you know, it's from a soul perspective. This is just such a brief little moment in time. Such a brief moment in time, a speck of time. So realise that what you do, and it's heavy. I know it's heavy. 10 of Wands, it's heavy. You don't know what to do, the moon, you don't know what to believe, where to go, who to look at, what to see, what to listen to. But the world is changing. The world will change. The cycle will change. There will be a new emperor. But it's what I said at the beginning, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. So my best advice to you is to live your best life that you can right now. Okay? Live the best life that you can. Put it this way. I know I don't have South African problems. I live in a different part of the world, probably a safer part of the world in terms of many parts of South Africa. I know lots of it is safe. But what I'm trying to say is that I went up to see my dad last week in Yorkshire, and we were all sat around the table with my brother and his wife, and we all just raised our glasses because we hadn't been together for a while. And we said, whatever's going on in the world, let's just have the best life that we can. And cheers to the fact that we're all together. And that's truly the energy, what I think will help us going forward. Counting our blessings, being kind to each other, trying to keep walking the talk, the path of Christ consciousness, knowing that you will be mocked for it, that others won't understand why you are trying to practice, for example, forgiveness, gentleness, humbleness, but you keep doing it anyway because that's your soul mission and that's why you came. All right? Okay. I think I'm going to leave it there for this video, and I will do Mexico tomorrow. Please give me a like. Oh, look at that. I was just shuffling the cards, and look what's on the bottom of the deck again, the white card. God. Don't ever forget the power of God. Stay aligned to your God. Stay aligned to the light. This is where it's all at. A new page will come. There's a lot of worry with it in terms of will it ever. And there's blood on those knives. But eventually, the Hierophant, I'm just splitting the deck, it's just telling a story, the Hierophant. And this Hierophant, this leadership, this new governance is wise, is respected. Split the deck one last time, we've got the Empress energy. And it feels linked into the divine feminine, which is sorely needed as well to rise. And so it is, and so she will. Thanks very much. Give me a thumbs up, please. It helps get the algorithm out there, and because I think YouTube's doing all sorts of things with my channel at the moment, unsubscribing people, shadow banning me. But hey, if you stand in the light, that's what's going to happen. So let's fight back, but let's fight back with love. Thanks very much, everybody. Take great care. See you next time. Thank you for watching me all the way from South Africa as well. I will get over there one day. Bye-bye for now. Bye.